What's up everyone, welcome back to Ask Dan Anything, where I answer your confidence and connection based questions. Don't forget to use the link below if you want to send a question through, and of course subscribe to the channel if you want to see my answers sent through to you regularly. Now today I'm going to be answering essentially a question about seasonal anxiety and in a sense seasonal depression as well. So for those of you in the Northern Hemisphere, as the lights go down, as things get dark and cold over the Christmas time, depression and anxiety are far more likely to kick in. There's a lot of external factors that trigger anxiety and depression at this time of year. And the same occurs in the second half of the year for people living in the Southern Hemisphere. Winter kicks in, suddenly everything seems more shit. We're more likely to have these painful moods and experiences. And the question I'm really answering is what should I do about it? And what I want to do is actually point out two key mistakes that I see people make when it comes to managing both depression and anxiety. And it's these mistakes that actually cause all of your suffering. Now, mistake number one is trying to fix it. When you try to fix something about yourself, you automatically create shame, because you're saying this thing that's true about myself is wrong. It is a problem. There is something wrong with me. I am broken. When you create that frame, you're saying, I am wrong. And that's where shame comes in. So shame always doubles the size of our suffering, doesn't it? Like, anxiety is painful enough just as an emotion, but then to tell yourself that you're wrong for having it, that you've made a mistake, that you're somehow a failure as a person, just because you're experiencing this normal human emotion, doubles the size of the suffering. You don't actually have to be suffering as much as you are. And one of the key things I want to point out is one of the reasons that depression and anxiety is so painful for you is because of the shame. The shame is triggered so instantaneously that you think your pain is coming from the emotion when it's actually coming from the sense of wrongness that you attach to it. So even if you're using meditation, medication, if you're going for a long walk, if you're doing all the right things, taking care of yourself, all the right things you should be doing when you're feeling anxious or depressed, but you're doing them for the reason of fixing the emotion, it undermines the effort. Those things will not help you if you're doing it for the reason of fixing the emotion. The quick twist change that you can make there is, rather than trying to fix the emotion, try to learn from it. Why are you anxious? Why are you depressed? What is your body trying to tell you? It's probably just trying to tell you it's time for a break. It's time to stop trying to control things you can't control. It's time to let go of toxic relationships. It's time to change your job. There's a lot of things this emotion might be telling you. And if you stop trying to fix it, you might hear what it's trying to tell you. However, this brings us to the second biggest mistake that people make, which is they believe the thoughts that they have during these emotional states. So when somebody gets anxious or gets depressed, they'll ask themselves why. And the first answer that comes to their mind, they will believe. And then they'll investigate that answer. You know, the person who sent it through to me, she said that there was somebody murdered near her when she was a child, when she was younger. And now she thinks she's anxious about perhaps being murdered herself. And that's an example of when you ask your anxiety, like, why are you here? And your anxiety comes up with an answer. She now believes that answer. So she's investigating that answer. You know, how can I make myself safer? What's the risk of murder right now? All this does is aggravate the anxiety. It's not the risk of murder that's got you worried. You're just having anxiety. There's no helpful purpose in investigating the thoughts that come up when you're depressed and when you're anxious. Put it really frankly, when I'm depressed or anxious, the first thing I do is stop believing my thoughts. Now, it doesn't mean I try to ignore them. I simply try to focus my attention on something more helpful to focus on. Which brings us to the second kind of solution here. So first one around feeling anxious, depressed, stop fixing it and start listening to what your body needs, which isn't the same as listening to what your thoughts say. And the second one, instead of trying to investigate your thoughts and trying to psychoanalyze your depression and your anxiety, is go and do something rich and meaningful with your time. Use that energy. If you're depressed, it's a great level of energy for creative artwork. You know, draw something, write about what you're feeling, draw about what you're feeling. Go dance, paint. Use that emotion to be creative. It's a very creative emotion if you just let it be black and dark and brutal. And when it comes to things like anxiety, it's a very high-pitched emotion, isn't it? It's very, what the pseudo-spiritualists would call high vibration. It's a buzzing emotion. It's a lot of energy to burn up. Go burn it up. Go do something fucking meaningful. Go build something. Go help somebody. Take the focus away from investigating your own thoughts, which is just that energy exploding inwards, and explode outwards. Go do something. Particularly go focus on something you can control and a problem you can solve. Anxiety usually comes from focusing too long on a problem you cannot control, something you cannot solve. So the solution just short circuits in your brain. You're just constantly going, attempt to solve, can't solve, attempt to solve, can't solve. That's really the feeling of anxiety, that powerlessness, that fear, that worry. Find something you can fix. Go do the dishes, go fix the deck, go help your friend move house. Pour that energy into something where you're like, hey, I'm actually contributing. I can control this. I can have an effect here. So those are my top tips for people feeling anxiety or depression at this time of year. I know it's hard. Your first impulse to listen to your thoughts and obey them is simply the wrong thing to do, put it frankly. Go out there, either be creative or be productive. Focus on things you can control. Ignore the thoughts, or at least don't fight against them. Stop trying to fix this emotion, try to put it to work. I hope that helps. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed that. Share this around and send your questions through. I'll see you next time. Cheers.